Previously on Balls.
Top Odds Compare now are backers, the people who allow you at the click of a button on www.tokodds.com to put your bet on the games, football and otherwise, cricket, golf, tennis, anything you want. Brandon from Top Odds. Last week I said Sunderland would beat Newcastle at St James's Park. Nobody believed me. They won 3-0. How did we feel about that?
Yeah, we did like them. We did say they can get something there. Especially after the loss of Kabay, and they did. I hope you put the charity money on that. I hope you guys have been following Pirates as well. I mean, 2 wins since we've last spoke. And Chiefs won as well, so all our tips came in, I think.
Yeah. Brandon, you're saying we should follow Orlando Pirates. Roger Desar resigned and Eric Tinkler produced that win. Do we have any odds on the PSL title, though, with Kaiser Chiefs now 11 points clear, but Sundowns 2 games in hand, they could go within 5 points, and if Pirates won all their games in hand, they could also go within 5 points into second place, joint with Sundowns if everyone wins their games in hand. But everyone doesn't win their games in hand, do they?
No. And Pirates have a tough task. I mean, they've got to go, just win every single game in hand to be, as close as they can be. But that Chiefs side, I watched the game last night.
Yeah.
Geez, Supersport deserved to get something. I mean, they just didn't have the quality in front of goal. That you would expect. And Chiefs scored early. I mean, I call that a soft goal. And the guy's 100 meters out and chips it into the box and it goes into the back of the net. But the rubber the greens with Chiefs at the moment, and unfortunately there's no betting out because the games were last night. It's a little bit early in the morning, but they will be out later today. And you have to think Chiefs are a certainty for this title.
Yeah, I mean, is there any point in kind of picking up a bet on Sundowns or Orlando Pirates at this point, or and we're 17 games. Most of them are about 17 games into a 30-game season, so there is a long way to go. Normally the Premier League the South African Premier League is won with 55 to 60 points over the last 5 years. So they've got 39 at the moment. There's still quite a way to go. Is there any point in considering betting against Kaiser Chiefs for very good odds on the PSL title this season?
I think when the odds come out, you will get very good odds. You will. Kaiser Chiefs have to be short, especially after winning last night. Pirates do have the games in hand, but the bookmakers are going to sit and, they're going to say to themselves, gee, as Pirates have it all to do. We're happy to lay any bets. They got to win. I believe Pirates have to win every game for the rest of the season to beat Chiefs, because I don't think Chiefs are going to get beat that often. I think Baxter's got it right. I saw him screaming and marshalling his troops on the touchline last night. And I just think they got a good ethos around that side this year. I don't know what Kaiser Matang Jr. thought about it. I don't know if you asked him, whether Chiefs can win it, but Chiefs, I wouldn't be wasting my money on anyone else but them. I think if you wait later on into the season, maybe when Pirates are three points behind, or then you'll still get value. I mean, Chiefs will still be favourites. So yeah, I would just hold my money for now.
Yeah, no, sure. We need to really look at a couple of bets that we might be able to take on the English Premier League. There's a mid-table side called Liverpool. Arsenal, a very good side at the top of the league, are playing Liverpool on Saturday, the early game, 2:45 kickoff South African time. My feeling, very strongly, Comfort might not agree with me, being a Man City fan, my feeling very strongly is that Arsenal will continue, I hope, to maintain some kind of lead at the top. After Man City were beaten by Chelsea 1-0 on Monday, unbelievable game, I thought. And in many ways similar to Kaiser Chiefs last night, a bit of luck. Mourinho ground out a result against Manchester City. Baxter ground out a result last night against Cavin Johnson's Supersport United. Liverpool-Arsenal, any particular requirement there? Go to www.tokodds.com, go down the green menu on the left, go to football, go to Premier League, and look at the odds. Liverpool versus Arsenal, 90-minute betting. In fact, that's on the front of your page, isn't it? On your front page.
It is. That's the massive game this weekend. And I mean, geez, that Chelsea-Man City game just blew this league, wide open. Yeah. You can't be confident in a Liverpool side when their manager comes out yesterday or the day before and says he thinks the title race, they're out of the title race. Their goal is top 4. I don't think I've ever heard that. I think mean, David Moyes is 16 points off the top, and he still thinks Man United can win it. So I don't know. I don't know what the mentality is at Liverpool with regard to the season. But if I was an Arsenal fan, like you are, I would be very, very nervous this weekend. Liverpool at Anfield, Sturridge and Suarez back. Arsenal, they've done enough to win, but they haven't been impressive. Losing Theo Walcott, I just think that this is where, this title race gets very, very close. If Liverpool can win, it gets very, very interesting. I still think Man City will win the title, but if you have a look at the betting, LM Bookmaker and World Sports Betting, LM Bookmaker 53-20, World Sports Betting just about 5-2 for Arsenal to win this game. Now that's value. I mean, they are top of the table, and you're getting over 2-1 return on your money. Liverpool 11-10, a little bit short for me. They are at home, and that's why they are that price. Both bookmakers have the same price. What about a draw here, Neil?
I put out a list of predictions for this week's PSL games, and someone just wrote back and said, why don't you just punt on a draw for all of them? It's always the easy. There's a difference here between being an analyst and a predictor and being a betting specialist. Yes, a draw does look like a good result for both sides in some ways. At Anfield, Arsenal used to have a terrible time at Anfield, but obviously in recent years things have got a bit better. I think Brendan Rodgers, I've always said, has been a mid-table manager all his life, and was commenting quite loudly on Swansea getting rid of Laudrup this week and saying it was the right thing to do. I just worry that Brendan Rodgers sets his sights a bit lower than he should, and you've just said that as well. He says Liverpool aren't in the title running, and yet David Moyes at Man United in a worse position is saying he's still in the running. So a draw would make sense. At Anfield, Arsenal come there not playing quite as well as people think. Well, they play well, but they don't necessarily get the goals. Oxlade-Chamberlain was needed to get the 2 goals over the weekend. Giroud comes in, goes out. Podolski, we're still not sure if he's fully fit. They didn't get the striker that they wanted. They got the lad Kim Hallström, the veteran out of Spartak Moscow, the Swede, 108 games for Sweden. He gets injured in the first training session and is out for 3 or 4 months. So nothing came in for Arsenal. Liverpool, in terms of strikers, with Sturridge, Suarez, and all that they've got firing up front, you've got to fancy them. But the way Brendan Rodgers seems to be setting up, suggests to me that a draw would be a good result for both sides.
Yeah, I also fancy a draw.
Comfort would say that. He's got Norwich. Man City are at bloody Norwich. Bollocks.
The difference for me, is like you say, how Liverpool set up for this game. Do they set up there to win this home game? Or do they set up and say, I'm happy for a point. Let's stay, in this 4th spot and be happy. That for me is the question, how Rodgers sets up his team. And I don't think that Wenger can be happy with a point in this game. I think if he wants to win the title, he needs to get it free, because Man City and Chelsea now are breathing down his neck. And, they're going to win this weekend. I mean, Chelsea are playing Newcastle. They should win. And, Man City's playing Norwich, so those are 3 points for both sides. Arsenal draw all of a sudden, they're second. So, it's just a massive game. It's an absolutely massive game. I'd be nervous if I was an Arsenal fan. I'm not an Arsenal fan. I hope Liverpool win.
Sure. And what's so fascinating about South Africa is how many people mostly in their 30s, but older than Comfort. He's a Man City fan at 27. That's quite a recent phenomenon. But how many Liverpool fans there are in South Africa? When I watched that Liverpool Legends game and there was Robbie Fowler and all that in this kind of pub, what's it called, Cottonfields in Umhlanga, and there was Robbie Fowler in there having a drink, and I'm saying to everyone, that's Robbie Fowler. But they're all Liverpool fans. They know the faces, they know the history of Liverpool, and there'll be a lot of support in South Africa for Liverpool, and maybe a good idea then for you guys to go and put your money on tokodds.com on Liverpool to beat Arsenal in the 2:45 game on Saturday. Then we move into Chelsea and Man City picking up points later in the day. And then on Sunday, Spurs against Everton. Spurs, you have to say, are still in the running at least for the top 4. And Man United against Fulham, the continuing drama of David Moyes. If Man United don't beat Fulham, I'm tempted to say I will run across the N1 naked, given Fulham's form. But then with David Moyes, the up and down nature, he had the 6 wins in a row, and then since then he's had a bit of a plummet. They've got the Champions League left, I guess. I think they're out the running for the title, but out of both the cups already, unbelievably. Semi-finals of the semi-finals of the League Cup, the Capital One Cup, they fell out, and FA Cup, bang, gone. So they've got to beat Fulham at Old Trafford, surely. That's the 6 o'clock game in South Africa on Sunday.
No, most definitely. I mean, you look at. I was reading an article yesterday in the archives. I don't know where I found it. Ferguson's first season, his first 8-9 months. Article in the English press. Ferguson must go. He's done nothing for the side. Blah blah blah. On and on and on. The question is, Moyes is in the same position. The squad's not good enough. But can lightning strike twice for Man United? And can Moyes be what Ferguson was? I don't know so much. I don't know what kind of football he's trying to play. I think he's confused at the moment. I think, he's put Mata in on the field and because he has nobody else to play. And, Fulham in the form that they're in, they can't beat anyone at the moment. But nothing's running for Manchester United. Nothing's running. If you look at the 2 goals that we conceded against Stoke City, I mean, she was deflections in and out. Charlie Adam with an absolutely cracker. I mean, when we played Tottenham to draw 2-2 earlier in the season, also 2 cracker goals. Yep. I mean, against Sunderland, a fumble by David De Gea. I mean, nothing's running for Manchester United at the moment. I've never seen a penalty shootout taken like that. I think Bafana would take a better one than we took against Sunderland, and nothing seems to be there. I don't think he can rally his troops at the moment. 4 or 5 signings might do the trick. But yeah, I would stay away from that game. There are guys out there that like to punt on an outsider. Go put your 10 hand on Fulham because the way Man United have been playing, I can't predict that. But obviously, like you say, the game is Tottenham and Everton. Tottenham, I don't think they'll be in the top 4. Although they bought 7 or 8 players at the beginning of the season, I've said it enough that again, Gareth Bale's a massive loss. I don't think they'll be there. I think Everton might just get something, and both bookmakers offering 26-20 on this game could be a little bit of value.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think, I was around, obviously in English football, I can't remember where I was, Mirror or the Sunday Mirror, I think I was, or the People, when Sir Alex Ferguson, bloody hell, it must be 20 years ago, 1991, around there. I think Mark Robbins scored a vital goal in an FA Cup game that kept his job. He was going to be sacked the next day if they hadn't won that game. And Mark Hughes scored, I think, against Barcelona Cup Winners' Cup that they won. That kept his job. He came very close to Alex Ferguson at the start of his career to letting Man United down. It's a bit like Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs in this country. You're expected to win. You're expected to get results straight away and immediately. And there's a lot of pressure on David Moyes that Sir Alex Ferguson will be well aware of and will be telling the board of directors at Man United, particularly the American Glazers on the board, that you can't sack him. He's now got Mata on board. Mata should help. Although I was amazed how well Chelsea did without him in their midfield against Man City. It just worked so well, didn't it? The lad Matic, the manager Matic, has come back from Benfica, having been sold by Chelsea. He absolutely held that midfield together. They didn't miss Mata at all. Hazard was brilliant. William wasn't bad. And without Mata, they did well. But, of course, Mata will help at Man United. So, I know Arsene Wenger's furious that Mata went from Chelsea to Man United at this time of the season because they've still got to play Man United. So I think Moyes will survive. I think they'll definitely beat Fulham. It'll get back on track a little bit over the weekend. And you can put any money you want on Man United. Fulham conceding goals. I was comparing them to Golden Arrows yesterday. That's the way I feel about them. And they're just in chaos. Fulham isn't a big club. Fulham's an old club that deserves to be in the second division. And gradually, as Mohamed Al Fayed's money runs out, they're gradually falling down to where they should be, which will probably be lower end of the championship in 2 years' time.
Yeah. Said like a true Arsenal fan.
No, mate, it's West London. They're all posh there. North London's football. West London, it's bollocks. They all got money and they're all yuppies.
Brandon,
yes,
since you're showing faith in Fulham, have you checked out Southampton versus Stoke? Because I think Stoke might just stand a chance against Southampton, considering that they've been playing so well recently, and some of their acquisitions as well. The odds are 6-1 for Stoke to beat Southampton at home. What do you think?
Yes, don't read anything into Stoke beating Man United. I don't think Man United are playing like the Man United of old, so I wouldn't read anything into that form line, like I've said before. I think any good side on the day beat Stoke. We were just, as I said, unlucky. I mean, that Charlie Adam goal. I mean, gee, was if he did that for Liverpool, they might have made him captain, you know.
Yeah.
But Southampton are a very good side. I've always said that. Yeah, they're going to taper off a little bit. Geez, I don't know. 6-1 is always value, let's put it that way. I mean, they did come off a win. They did beat Manchester United. John, it might not be that better. I don't think I'd be taking 11-20 Southampton. I mean, Alan Bookmaker and World Sports Betting respecting Southampton just over 5-10. And gee whiz, I think you've picked out something there with value comfort. 6-1, Stoke might just be a value bet. But I just want to point you guys' attention out to a massive game at the bottom end of this Premier League. We know how close it is. And that's got to be Aston Villa West Ham. Now, I know we discussed last week whether Roger de Star was close to losing his job. Within 3 days, he was fired. Sam Allardyce has to be in the same sort of position. He could be, he might be fancying his chances. Villa at home, we know that their away record is much better than their home record. But I just think that if West Ham don't win this, he might be in a little bit of trouble. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah. Everyone down the bottom. It's a very, very. Everyone's talking about the top of the table being so exciting and better than it's been for years because Man United have tailed off a bit. And I suppose you could say Liverpool and Spurs have come into it in the last couple of years. But at the bottom, mate, I mean, how many clubs are in danger down there? I mean, how do you possibly, declare yourself safe? Hold on, let's just come up to this thing here. So,
6 points different.
Right up to Aston Villa in 10th. There's a 7-point gap between Southampton and Aston Villa, right? 9th and 10th. 35 for Southampton, 27 for Aston Villa. So West Ham, who are in the relegation zone on 22 points, are basically, just two wins shy of going ahead of Aston Villa if Aston Villa loses. So that's 10th. That's, more than, that's the top half. Aston Villa are at the bottom of the top half, aren't they, with 20 sides. So, yeah. Absolutely. Those games at the bottom, everyone becomes a cup final from now on until the end of the season. You've got Aston Villa, West Ham, you've got Crystal Palace, West Brom. All these are relegation battles now. Sunderland, Hull's another. Swansea, Cardiff, a classic.
I mean, if
Louder, but Swansea.
If you have a look at the Swansea Cardiff game, new manager for Swansea. Loudrup's going to be a tough person to replace. I think he's just had bad luck this season. And if you look at the odds in that game, Swansea 17-20. Now that's very, very short. Both bookmakers often in the same. What are Cardiff's chances of getting a result there? I mean, they're 37-20 with Alan Bookmaker and World Sports Betting. That's just under 4-1. And I mean, they're going to a side that just lost their manager. I'm not sure who this Swansea manager now that they've replaced. Was he under Laudrup before? Is he a new guy?
As caretaker. The caretaker, a club captain being put in charge, isn't he? Can't remember his name, but he was being talked about as a possible coach in the future, and then they suddenly put the club captain, who's kind of coming to the end of his career, in charge of Swansea, and that's what they've done, essentially. And Laudrup was one of the great progressive coaches, loads of Spaniards in at Swansea who now won't want to be there, because Michael Laudrup carried with him the great lure of being one of Europe's great players, came to coach, and immediately attracted good players like Michu and other players like that. Suddenly they've got rid of him, and it was only 3-4 months ago he was being touted as the next manager of Real Madrid or even Man United. He was mentioned as a Fergie successor at one point, and suddenly he's sacked. So I'm amazed, shocked and amazed by what they did with Laudrup.
I mean, 7 managers have been sacked in this season alone. I mean, I was watching yesterday Sky Sports News. They had a little bit of a tribute to all of them. I mean, if you count the managers that have been sacked, AVB, I mean, geez, that's just the nature of football at the moment. I think it's a bad move by Swansea. I think Cardiff might get something. Although I do think that Cardiff, they're the side that will go down there on the bottom at the moment. They might just be able to get something. But, this weekend's very, very hard. Once again, I draw your attention to the sevens. It's in Wellington. And I think New Zealand have to be a good bet there.
Okay, well, it worked for us last time, didn't it? We might have to have a look at that. I'll have a word with old Leon Petson. We'll have a word with the lads who put money, our way, so we can bet for the Wings of Change charity. I think Maz was saying earlier we've made at least 5,000 rand in profit for charity over the last couple of months. A lot of it's been thanks to you, Brandon. Brilliant, mate. Top Odds Compare, our backers, are on Twitter at Top Odds Compare, www.tokodds.com. Have a look at Brandon's advice on Top Odds Compare on Twitter over the couple of days before the weekend. And of course, you always have a brilliant video of bollocks on the front of your site, don't you?
Yeah, we do, definitely. And just to remind the punters that all the games are live and running on the front of Top Odds. So in the Liverpool Arsenal game, like if you're like me and you think 11 to 10 is a little bit short for Liverpool, wait, let 20 minutes, 30 minutes tick by, you get better odds.
Yeah.
And you also then can, you then have an opinion on the game. See how badly Arsenal are playing and maybe back against them.
Don't, mate. Don't back against Arsenal. Right, okay, well, you're a Man United fan, so I no longer feel threatened by you in any way whatsoever, Brandon. Thank you very much. We'll speak to you again next week. Let's see what happens there. That Welsh derby going for Cardiff might be an interesting bet. Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day.
Cheers.
Great stuff.
Visual radio. Radio like you've never seen it before. Balls.co.za